Hey there, this video is part of a Udemy course I've been working on, which I'll probably release next week. You can use code invincible with all caps, or use some link I'll probably upload. But this video I wanted to upload to YouTube and make it available for free, just because hands are quite distinct or separate from the other parts, and I think you can learn from here without watching the whole course, as I'll only work on the hands itself. I don't know if I should use itself. Also, I'm thinking about uploading a torso tutorial in two parts in the following weeks, so stay tuned for that, and I hope you find this helpful. Thank you. Hey there, welcome to the 10th episode of this course, where we will sort of complete the whole body. Now, we will also adjust the legs, but our main objective for this episode is to make the hands. Now I've added to this pwdef file a, no, but some hand references. So I'm going to increase the size a bit. Let me see if you can see it. Yes. Now for the hand, these aren't necessarily the best references, but I think compared to the other body parts, your own hand is probably your best reference. I think if you had a mirror, or yeah, a mirror, and you could look at your head, it's also a very good reference, but your hand is much more naked than your head or body, and you can view your hand without really, I'm not gonna say distracting yourself, but you're not going out too much of your way. But enough yapping, and let's go with the making, something like that. I'm going to isolate the arms, so with slash, let's turn on screencast keys. Okay, again, let's go back, slash, and I'm here. Now I am going to decrease, actually, let's go back. And from here, I am going to pull the wrists back. You want to do this slowly. And I think it's about quarter of the whole torso. So just pull. Try to not move this area too much, just the wrist area. We can always adjust this. And let's flatten this just a bit. Also up here, but slightly. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm gonna go with the scrape fill brush and just do this. We're not gonna squish the butt just now. We'll do it after we pose the arms. Now we can slash. But what we're gonna do is create a base hand, and then you can pose it based on your preference. I am going to go with something similar to this. So I might just make both hands more flat, but it's gonna be something similar to this. Now we aren't gonna add armature to it, so we're not gonna rig it. But if you do really want to rig it, feel free to do so. You will have a bit more freedom when posing it, but I prefer to create the pose while actually sculpting. Let me take a sip of coffee and we can go on. We will heavily adjust the wrists after we have done the hands. But now I'm gonna hold shift and right click around here. Now I think that should be where the 3D cursor is, yes. So shift and you can right click, but I'm gonna click around middle here. And I am going to add a cube this time. I'm gonna shrink it to about it, I guess, to about the length of the wrist. I'm gonna rotate it and just get it in line. We're just kind of getting the proportions right now. So get it in line to to not really, what should I say, change the rotation, we're gonna move the edges rather than rotating or scaling it in object mode. So select the face, press G twice, and slowly go to about the wrist. With this one as well, and about here. Now I think our hand can be just a bit longer. This should do. And then I am going to add an edge loop. Okay, and put it just a bit below middle of this rectangle thing, box. Okay, I think it's a bit too wide right now, but we can put this in. This, or not for now, but no, we'll leave it like this. Okay. Now to get this, we're gonna try to rotate it back. This isn't the best rotation, but it will do. So just try to get it back to a more inline rotation. So something like this. This will be our hand. Now I kind of want to rotate it down like this. Let's not rotate it for now. And we'll pull this up now. No, I think it does need to rotate. So R, Y, minus 90. And I'm going to mainly look at this one and this one. But also my own hand. So I guess it would help to look at the other way then. Okay. So this is the palm. So we want the palm to be not in this side. So Control M and mirror it in the y-axis. Okay, now R, Y, 180, and then Control M, X. So we essentially have this one. Okay, we can pull this much higher, like this, or this side. Now we can pull a bit out, but it should be mostly in line with this side. Let's pull this a bit down as well. Yeah, I think that's not bad. It's definitely quite thick right now, but I think that's better than being less thick. Now let's add the fingers, which will also be a cube. And I think, based on looking at my fingers, at least the index finger is as long as the hand. So you don't need the width, but we just need the length. I'm mostly doing the changes in edit mode, so scale, z-axis, z, and just go about the hand. Now let's see it up here, and we can see the width. We can change most of these things just before I do it, but it's good to get an idea of proportions right now. Sorry. So S, Shift Z now. So we're only scaling in the X and Y axes. And think about getting 5 of these things up here. You don't have to do this, I'm just gonna demonstrate it. Yeah. Please don't select those. That might be a bit too wide, even though they will be a bit closer and these two will be a bit smaller. I think it's fine, since we will smooth a lot. But now is the width, yeah, the length is fine, width is fine. Let's pull this back here. We could I want to say hide these, but I think going back to them will help us. So let's just keep them for now. Now I'm going to subdivide twice, like this. And I'm going to select these two middle edges, these two, and I'm going to pull them up. So G and Z, something like this. Now a lot of this part is going to go inside, so even though it does look a bit too long, it's fine for now. And now, I think it's fine. Yeah. What I'd like to do is pull this in, so GY, and also pull this in, GY, and then we can rotate the whole thing as it shouldn't be like it's curling, but just a relaxed finger. Now double G, and we can pull this just slightly in, and slightly in like this. We can pull these two edges, or groups of edges, I guess, a bit down, GZ, or let me try double G. Okay, just be careful. Double G and slightly. I think this one might have a bit too much as well. So double G. Okay. Now I'm rotating way too much. We're gonna go on scope mode and go on a very low resolution. Let's try 600. Too low. Okay, 400 works. And we should turn on X symmetry. And to start, we're gonna smooth these edges along this side. So slowly, just go along. Okay. This side is much smoother or rounder than this side. Even though this side is quite smooth, it's still more flat. So let's just decrease the, not this one. Let's go to the smooth. So this one. And yeah, 300. And just lightly, just to get rid of these sharp edges, but not as smooth as this side. Okay, let's smooth the hell out of this one. Okay, one more set of poly, and we're not in a bad position. Again, a lot of this chunk will go inside. We could, let's smooth this just once or twice, puff it up, and now with the crease polish brush, go here and just dig in, smooth. I think the line was around here, dig in. Definitely this needs to go lower. I think it was lower, puff this up. Since it's kind of curling, even though my fingers are quite flat, even when I'm curling, we are very close to the finger right now. Yeah, this definitely needs more smoothing. Up here as well. Okay. Let's pull this up. We're not going to make the nails just because it's going to be literally not visible. We can smooth this area here. But it shouldn't be super small. Now I think we could benefit from adding a bit more width, but let's just see. This is probably the most popping, especially around here. Let's smooth some more on this side, so it's just rounder. And it's kind of flat up here. and then we can smooth just a bit more on the outside, or the other side. Now, I think wherever these lines are, on this side it'll just get out a bit like this. And thicken this. Okay. Let's go in edit mode, select all, S and Shift Z. Okay, maybe too much. Widen this area. On this side it's quite flat. This might be a bit too much. If we look at this, let's pull this down, pull this down, pull this out, this in. Yeah, it's quite flat on the side. Okay, we're not in a bad position for now. Let's see. Something like this should be fine. Let's decrease the width just a bit. So S, Shift Z, just go slowly. Yeah, let's do the other fingers. So Shift D, X, around here. Let's only on the Z axis. So it's just slightly longer than this one. And we can add some variation later. I prefer to just copy this one, but you could just copy this and then change for the ring finger. But Shift D, X, and now this is just slightly smaller than the index finger. Something like this. And now for the pinky. This is quite smaller, also thinner, shorter, probably even more than that. Yeah, something like that. This could benefit from shrinking it a bit width-wise. So we'll just go Shift Z. Not bad. Now, I'm not sure if we should do the index finger now or leave it when we have more of the hand. In the practice ones, I've done it now, so I think that's what we'll do. Do this RZ. Is this the negative? Let me just see. No, that's the positive. Don't do 90, do something like 70. 70. Not even 70. Maybe 60. Well, 60. And something like this. Even though, okay, before you do that, sorry. S and let's shrink it. Let's also widen it. And now we can pull this down. It's quite more rounder at the top than the rest of the fingers. This can come down by a lot. Let's see. Again, I think your hand is probably the best reference. This only has two of these chunks. So this part will mostly go inside of the hand. Puff this out. It's quite sharp in this area. Something like this. It's quite shrinky here. We can pull this down, pull this out. I don't really like this, but I think it's just because of this. Okay. This kinda grows. Kinda grows is a descriptor and a half. Pull this out, out. And yeah, this is quite more rounded. Around here as well. We can pull this down. We only need again this part. And it's also quite flat around here. Let's see. So it's out here, goes in, goes in, goes out. Now, comparing it, it's probably slightly shorter than the index finger. Okay, around here. So, let's see. I think I'm gonna go with S and Z. Let's try that. Now we're just gonna rotate it in place. Yeah, here, and then RZ. I don't know how much this is, as I can't see it because of the reference. Okay, I can see it now. 47, but 50 probably works as well. Let's pull it out a bit, like this. Now this could go quite down, like here-ish. And yeah, the palm is definitely way too thick. But again, I think that is better than being way thinner. Now let's go here, grab this edge, double G, and go about finger place. I don't know. Second. There is my coffee gone. We could pull this much outer around here, and I would like to tuck this in, but I think we'll do that in sculpt mode. Just see this area as well. We could shrink this area as well, to be honest. Go with G, Y. Okay, that doesn't do it. Just these two. Could I have just done this face? Yeah. G, Y. And yeah, I think we shouldn't get below this thickness. Let's go, okay. Rotation and scale. Change the origin again. And let's sculpt. How much is that? 450. Yeah, that's not bad. Let's start by smoothing just the edges for now. Let me just see. Okay, after some technical difficulties, I am back. So to continue, I think I want to shrink the fingers a bit, but I think they're wide enough, so let's just pull them down. Yeah, that looks fine. Also gonna make this a bit thinner. Let's pull it a bit more to the side and just tuck the sides in. Let's see. I'm kind of fine with this top. So here it goes in. Let's pull this up a bit. And then it's just out here. I don't like that this is stuck here. So let's shrink it. Something like this. And we can make this more smooth here and then sharper as it goes up. Yeah, that's not bad. Tuck this a bit in, pull it down. And we can get way more detail as we work on the palm. I think I'm gonna pull this a bit more to the side. And then from here, this is quite sharp, but it is more in like this. And then more to the side, bit more in. Another thing we really didn't do is I'm not gonna call it curvature as it's really not apparent, but grab these two middle ones with G and the Y and just put them a bit more up. Now with your palm, pull it up. This should be like there's a word and I keep forgetting these when I talk. We'll say light, I guess, very light, but it should still have this curvature. Okay, we can smooth here, and as it comes, it should be very in line with the index finger, especially here. This smooth. Now on the bottom here, we can pull this higher, as you can probably notice on your hand. There's a word, but I guess it's the netting or webbing that ducks have. It's not that, but it looks like that. So do that under here, and then this, we can pull it a bit more down. This edge is very smooth. Okay. And this can come more in. And also smooth on this side. And in. You might have to rotate it a bit more, but we're not in a bad position. Let's see. It's quite sharp this way. So this way. Then there is this here. And here it's quite bumpy. So we might lower it a bit and try to get those details in. So first I'm gonna pull this in, just that it's in line with the, I forgot the name, with the thumb. Okay, and then with the scrape fill, we're going to flatten this. Okay, definitely this area of the thumb is more to this, and then this will be way smoother and not bubbly. More volume. I'm losing words, man. So pull this in. We could define the more sticking out area here, but not now. And then this will pull it in. Honestly, we could smooth it as well. Pull it down. Let's give it one big smooth. Okay, pull it down. Pull it in. And let's shrink it just tiny amount. And then tuck it a bit more in. Most of this area will be gone when we connect. And I think at the top here, let me switch. We'll just push this upper part in, mostly in line with the fingers, a bit out, and then at the parts when there's nothing, I don't know, in between the fingers, just tuck it in. It kinda smoothly transitions to the webbing. So it should be visible from the, we'll call this the front. But yeah, tuck this in, tuck this even more in, and smooth. Or pull this area a bit more out. It's not really sharp, but I think it's just because we haven't connected them yet. This can go a bit more in. Now this thumb is sticking out like a sore thumb. Okay. So I think we are going to try to give it less width. So just tug this in again, then around this. We can widen it from this side though. See, and shrink it slightly and pull it in. I think this is the lowest that it should go. Let's actually rotate it a bit. Put it in. The thumb will be the first thing that we connect with the palm. But let's add the, I really don't know what to call this. But the back here, the palm, but I don't know what to call, don't do this, these things. Let me turn screencast keys because I closed it. So bump these areas. I am using the clay strips brush, but the level of detail is quite low, so you could use the inflate brush, the draw brush, but I like using the clay strips brush. And now think of it where the thumb is starting, and then it goes down. This is probably the best, but looking at your arm suffices, to be honest. Tug this in. Should only go to about where the thumb is starting at, and I'm pretty sure the thumb bones come in here. Does that matter? Not really, but just a fact, just a fun fact. Now bump this area as well, then as it goes up till here. So not here, but let's say the tip of the finger length here. That's how far it should be. Widen this up, smooth, not bad. Let's also make a layer here. Smooth. Let's define the details just a bit more. So this goes in, this touch, this goes up, this goes like this. Okay, now let's work on the front a bit. I think this part is also quite smooth. Or try not to smooth it as much as this area. Okay, this looks bad. Just smooth it out and try to make it in one mesh-ish. That was a lot of SH. SH. Let me also take a sip of water. That was a lot of water. Again, let's start smoothing this, but not as smooth as this area. Just tapping around. Let's see, one. It can kind of pop out here and then go in. So select all the fingers and decrease them. Just go S and slowly decrease them. I don't know why I'm holding shift. I think it's because of Photoshop. Push it again to the edge. This can stick out, but not that much. This. Okay. Now I keep forgetting names. The knuckles. I'm going with the draw sharp tool, and I'm gonna hold control and just go over where they connect with the palm, with the hand, I guess, not the palm. Okay, and now I'm gonna go down, go down, go down. This is not really detailed, but we're just giving it some shape. Now I'm gonna dig in between them, especially here, even though there's no knuckle here. But yeah, dig here, pull this in, pull this in. And we can make this a bit more hollow, like this. and go with very light smoothing. Okay, not that much. Well, okay, yeah, let's do it. I'm not sure if I can switch on Udemy or the other platforms. Let's tuck this to the side. We can make these connect more. Just follow the shapes. Yeah. Now let's work a bit on the fingers. Okay, let's go with, that's not gonna work. I just tuck it in. Yes, up here it is very not changing, except at the top as it is quite round. Not quite round, but rounder than the other fingers. Let's make this pop a bit more and as short as it goes down. Go out. I'm going to turn off symmetry. I'm going to turn this way. Okay. I'm also going to do this. And I'm just going to pull it a bit more down. It's still sticking out. Tuck it from this side and this side. I think we'll figure it out when we connect it to the hand. Now, I think this might be a bit too big. So let's go, or too wide. What is happening? So go S Shift Z. Okay. But this area here is a bit too big. So pull it up. Let's see. It's quite flat. I don't particularly like it. This. So let's make it more round. Let's see the others. We can also increase a bit. Pull it up. We do care mostly for this side though, rather than this side. But I don't think we should neglect this side. Again, I think it's flat up until here, and then it rounds up. Something like this. Also something like that. So up until here, flat, and then rounds. Yeah. Now, there is definitely some variation. They shouldn't all look the same. I see my finger, my index finger, goes to the, what would this be, to the right a bit. So like this. And just add a bit of variation here and there, honestly. But make sure that they do look fine before you do that. Let me just try to smooth this also. That's a lot of smoothing. But it kind of works. I think we'll see on the, when we have a bit more detail. Again, just add some variation here and there. We can tug this in a bit. Okay, we have a nice basic hand, but we are not going to connect them just yet. I do notice that it's quite smaller than the wrist we had. So let's go and position this to where we wanted it. So select all of it and keep that selection for a while now. Rotate it in the, this was the y-axis or the, yeah, the x-axis. I think this is fairly straightforward, but just rotate it so it sits on the palm like this. On the wrist, sorry. Z, let's go here. Just about where it would be. Let's increase the size. Okay. I think let's do it just a bit more. I think that's fine. We'll tuck in the wrist a bit. Let's go for just slightly more. Okay, let's see it with omni-man. Is that a bit too small? Okay, that might be a bit too small. I think let's go for a butt cheek long, or just the distance from the, okay, the distance from the ring finger to the end of the wrist should be about a butt cheek. Yeah, I think at the start we said the wrist ends at about a quarter of the torso, and it seems like it. But let's pull this in a bit closer. Now let's move the wrists a bit, just slowly though. But we don't have to connect them right now. Let's only select all of the hand, so individually. Again, slash, select the hand, the arm, pull in. Just about the wrist. We'll clean most of it up, but it is more helpful before we do the cleaning that it is closer to what we want. Let's pull this back, flatten this up. This should be quite flat as well. These are changes that we'll mostly do closer to when we join them though. But it definitely helps to have an idea now. We'll define the wrist better at the hand itself. Close this in. Now it seems a bit too big. Okay, just decrease it a bit. Okay, that seems fine. Smooth this area out. Tuck it in. We'll definitely clean it up after. Let's see. That seems fine. Now, I don't want to connect them. I want to define the pose first and then connect them. But if you do want to rig them, then you can connect them now and then do the rigging and pose it. But now, in practice, I did this pose, but I don't know if I really like it. I kind of want the fingers to be flat, but the thumbs to interlock each other. So let's try that. Again, for now, we're going to have to select all of the hand and then work on it. But let's isolate these two once again. Now you can just parent them, but I don't like doing that. But if you want, just Control P. I'd suggest you select the hand and parent them. Shift D, Control M, X. Now we have our second hand. And let's thin this out. I'm going to rotate this on the Z axis, pull this more in. And yeah, I think I'm going to keep them flat. But now one hand should have... No, I think they can hit the same pose actually. Okay, again, as we mentioned earlier, I'm going to undo all of this. Delete that. And I'm going to Shift D and put this in my backup. Now, maybe I shouldn't have deleted that. Okay, never mind. Control M again, X-axis, axis, one of those words, and around here. Now this hand is gonna be a dummy hand. Do I want this to be? Okay, we'll make this the front one, and this will be the back one. Oops. Please select. Okay. This. Okay, we can join this, but we're not going to join it. We just want the mesh to be a thing in itself. So this is going to be flat. Let's tug this in. But we could tug this higher. So when we make the other one, hand, also be slightly tucked. Now let's select our main hand, pull it a bit back to the y-axis, just so the fingers don't interlock. Pull it back, like this. Okay. Now I guess we do want this part to be more back here. Pull this up. Now, if you really don't move one finger, now it still has to go down. What we're gonna do is pull this way higher. Again, don't be scared here, we have it in the backup. And also pull this higher. So it's coming out from here-ish. We can rotate it a bit. Again, no symmetry on. Pull this up. Now you should be way more careful. Pull this up. And I'm going to go with the pose brush. Try to go in the same plane as where you want to rotate. And from the tip, we're going to leave this anchor thing go where the finger would rotate from. What's the name? Like origin, I guess? It's not exactly origin. But the smaller sphere node thing should be at the digging part, and then from here we're just gonna curl it very slowly, but do make sure you are on the same plane. Let's shrink it just a bit. Okay, now with the grab brush, let's grab it down. And also grab it down. You can pull this up and in. Also this in. Okay, it looks quite weird, and I think it's just not that long. Let's hide this. Okay, it doesn't look bad. if I move it up, it's kind of straighter here. This can go more in. We're definitely struggling here, or I am. So let's pull it out like this. This. I think we'll start by joining these two. Okay, and join. I think the fingers might want to be a bit thicker. Let's see. Okay, I think we switch to local here. S, yes. S, Shift Z, and just make them thicker. S, Shift Z. S, Shift Z. I think this one's fine. That could be a bit too thick, but I think that's fine. I would prefer to have thicker fingers than wider. Okay, we'll smooth this out when we have more quality. Let's go with this. And let's go to, let's see, below 100. Let's go like 700. Control R. Okay. We're definitely going to need to work on this. Now, just as we've done prior, smooth along the planes. Try not to smooth these, but we can just redo them if you do. Try to make this part a bit more rounded. But that's not gonna matter that much. So just smooth, smooth. Now here, let's smooth this area first. Let's see. So this is more higher. We can make this a bit more smooth for now. Smooth. I really don't want to work on here as doesn't matter, but we are gonna add some detail. Now from this point, let's just do this. This definitely goes lower now. And around here there should be like stretching artifacts. So just smooth along the shapes. Oh, that looks. Pull it out like this. Okay. Now also up top we're gonna smooth now. Okay. From here it looks pretty good. Let me just sip on some water. But yeah, in 3D you have to look at every angle to make it correct. I guess you can not do it good from every angle, especially in our case, but it does make the shape look better at the end. Let's try to figure out the knuckle thing area here. So up top, make a cube first, smooth it out, and now dig here. Don't super dig, but dig so we notice the, what could this be? It's not a bone. Keep forgetting names. But this thing should stick out, so make it hollow enough so it does that. And then pull it up, just so this is more rectangle-like. Smooth, smooth. Tuck this in. I think we should pull this out like this. Pull it in. Just try to make it more in line. So this goes in, this goes out. Still working fine. can pop this up a bit. Tuck this in. Smooth out. Now the area here, we can smooth it a lot. But again, it should have like a stretching part. As you can see, if you separate your thumb a lot from your hand, it has that pulling area, I guess. I don't know what to call it. But okay, it looks fine. Might have to change the pose a bit later when you do both hands. But with a scrape brush, just go over the top, the side, smooth this out again. This should be very close to here. Let's pull it from up here. From, I guess we are down, but arm itself is up, so pull it out. Okay, that's decent. Let's tuck this in, this down, and we can connect our second finger, that being the index finger, and join. Let's go with the same detail, so just Ctrl R. And now we're going to do the same thing, but especially smooth on the side here, here, and then here you can go quick, I guess, as this area is quite smooth and round. Let's see, we can pull this area just a bit, smooth. Now from here, we're gonna smooth a lot, but not as much as here. So we're just getting rid of the sharpness. Yeah, we are smoothing, but we're trying to get rid of the sharpness rather than get it all smooth. That looks fine. Let's crease polish here, smooth. Crease polish here, smooth. Now this is sticking about a bit too much. Let's make this like this-ish. Now, yeah, we should have made it a bit. Nah, no, I don't think we should have made it wider. But let's slowly tuck it in. Try to get the. Spend some decent time in the earlier stages, just so you. When you don't fully. What should I say? When you fully don't get the shape correct at the lower detail stages, you can always fix them later, but it's much harder than earlier. Okay, that's fine for now. Let's round these edges. Okay. Now the part of getting these in is a bit harder, as they might stick to each other. So we're going for the edge one first, and then we'll slowly increase the quality. I don't think we're going to work on the details here of the finger, but you can if you want. It's mostly just adding lines and crease polishing. Crease polishing and, what is this called? I keep forgetting. Clay stripping it. Oh, that sounds wrong. But adding strips to make it more organic, I guess. Now we'll follow the same procedure with the rest of the fingers. Again, we're gonna smooth a bit more on this side, but we're just trying to get rid of the sharpness. Now, even though it does stick out from here it's quite smooth, almost like one shape. Okay, this is also, but from this, we're gonna go like this. Whoa, the solid. Let's go with the crease polish first and crease around here. with the clay strips brush, add a bit here, and then pull this area here. I think the pinky, most of these are the same size, and this, the top tip, might be the largest, but they're mostly the same size. Now this should be the most puffy. Yeah. And let's also make this here. Okay. Can smooth just a bit. And the pinky is much sharper at the top than the rest, I would say. Now let's try the ring finger. Join. Control R. And yeah, we want to avoid that. So let's go with the middle finger. See if it does that too. And it does it less, so we'll go with it. But we still have to increase the quality, so let's go for 400. We can get rid of that. Let's go before we go to 400. We'll move it just slightly down. As we're trying to stay in this, yeah, we didn't even need to change it this time. We're trying to stay as low quality as possible for as much as we can. Sorry. Let's pull this up and smooth. Again from here, we'll smooth from the side. Let's see. Crease here, crease here, smooth from the side, smooth. Okay. I think we could leave it like this, but I do want to tuck it in. Let's also make this before. I think in most fingers they are going up rather than down, so just line this. Okay, let's tug this down. First smooth this up. Now slowly we'll tuck it down. But it's definitely quite long, I would say. So go slowly. I think that's fine. Okay, and now we'll go for the ring finger. Let's pull this just a bit higher. And let's join it. Control R. Okay, let's go for a bit lower. Okay. I would rather have more than one side. But this time we'll have to increase the quality. Let's go for 300, 200 I guess. Okay, that's fine. Let's just try 300. Okay, lower than 300. That is fine. Let's smooth this because we forgot. Let's start by smoothing the sides here. As you can see, it is much harder to get the shapes correct now. Not much harder, but it's affecting more. It's affecting more? No. There's just more things to be affected by it. No, that is not why. I guess more points of failure. That's what I'm trying to say. Pull this up. Let's smooth this. Smooth. Okay. Again, these are going more towards the fingers. Put this in. Smooth the side. We should smooth these other fingers as well. I don't like how these are sticking out. I don't think smoothing is gonna fix them. Let's try a sharper crease polish and then smooth. Yeah, so sharper crease polish, smooth from one side, smooth from the other. Okay. Smooth this area, smooth this area. Okay, we should clean this up first. Also here we'll go with a sharper crease polish, and then smooth, smooth, smooth here. Should, okay, we should go down with it a bit. And pull it out just a bit, pull this out a bit, smooth, smooth. Yeah, we're not in a bad position. Definitely need to smooth this out, but 1 second. Okay, so let's continue on with the smoothing. And also remake some of the details or lines we made in the previous levels. But yeah, these aren't that visible, or they shouldn't stick out as individual parts of the hand, but rather just skin overlapping and going here and there. Let's widen this a bit. Smooth, smooth. Okay. I think we're just gonna clean this side just so it looks fine. If you do want to add a few more details to it, but if or in any case that you would use this sculpture, we don't really need to see this part. Let's clay fill these. Definitely work on these knuckles if you do plan to use this part. But since we don't, we're gonna leave this mostly just very blank. Let's pull this back a bit. So this, smooth, smooth. Let's go with our crease polish brush. Go quite narrow and just dig in here. We can pull this up a bit, very slowly. We could make this a bit thicker down here. Let's see, and then my finger is going quite up here. Let's pull this down a bit. Okay, it doesn't looks fine. I think we can add quite a bit more width to it. And then around this top. This can go a bit more out like this, smooth to the side. You could also make something like this, but very little. Let's see, 2 maybe 3 of these lines. and just smooth as they get closer. I like that. Let's now get the second hand. Just see, okay, let's just leave this for now, but it really doesn't matter. Shift D, Control M, and X, or is it Y? Oh, we are on local. Okay, global, sorry. Control M and X, so we mirrored on the X-axis. And yeah, this is just getting on our way, delete it. Now I think I'm gonna make this hand more forward. So rotate, pull forward. And we could also rotate in the Y-axis. This and up here. But I kind of do want this finger to stick out. So let's rotate this one on the Y-axis. Put it a bit more up. This down now. And put it down. Okay. Let's rotate this in the X-axis. And pull it back a bit. This on the X-axis as well. Pull it forward a bit. And now we could... Okay, let's go to edit mode. This might lag, so be careful. Shift, or no, sorry. First Control A, apply rotation and scale. Set origin to geometry, and then in edit mode, Shift N. And now our normal should be back to normal. That was horrible. Now with the grab brush, I'm going to grab this forward very lightly. Okay. Now this side, I'm gonna grab it backward. You can go a bit more strongly, I guess. But just try to not make them overlap. We can also just tug this in, because since it's hand material, hand mass, I don't know, it is way more soft. But as we pull back, we should also pull a bit in. I do think that they're not overlapping that much. Now they can overlap a little if you want to. You can just adjust them to look good. But if you plan to 3D print them or something, just make sure they look a bit cleaner. Let's pull this down a bit. Let's grab this whole thing, rotate it. Now we'll also grab this up, pull this down. You could also make the thumb just fully tucked in, but I kind of want to make it more dynamic. Big brush, pull up. And it looks fine. Now on the next episode we are going to adjust each of the hands. So we are going to apply the mirror modifier that we have here and then join each arm separately, clean up the mesh, and join and then clean up the mesh. We might do some adjusting on the wrists and we should be good on the hand side. Let's name these. This will be our hand right, yes. And this will be our hand left. Let's go out of our isolation mode. And we are currently in this position. thing we didn't also name the leg, so legs, and everything else should be fine. Let's get one last look at him before we move on to the next one, where we will be adjusting the legs a bit. We will very much adjust the butt here. As you can see, it should be pushed back. Again, join the arms, and then this section is done. And in the next section, we will finalize everything. So, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you there.